Another test. I mean, every map against Astralis is going to be a test for every team. So Liquid, backs against the wall in this first series, trying to avoid dropping down in that lower bracket this early on in the weekend. And here we go live into the first half pistol round. Liquid going to be attacking against Astralis. And it's 5 Glocks, it's utility on Nitro. As Stewie's gonna head towards Banana. It's Glaive at the top of it to challenge if they'd like, but both remaining passive for the moment.
Smoke deep, meant for the library side. This could very well enable the wraparound.
Oh yeah, this is a mid to B split. They're already making their way to CT spawn. Glaive's gonna have a really tough task, but he's at least got the advantage of range, and now he knows what's coming.
He's just gonna try to turtle up on sight. Oh, not even. Decides to take a fight towards Banana first, and now that confidence brims. However, ZipX is now left on his own, trying to get into cover, trying to do something to buy time here, but the rotation's so far away that surely he's doomed, and he is. 4v3 as bomb is planted, and this smoke ends up playing against the rotation for the counter-terrorists.
Yeah, that's Liquid keeping up the pressure, so the fact to take over the bomb site while that smoke is still up, it delays the retake attempt. All 3 players for Astralis coming in, and it's Device to start the early probing. No kits, no utility, and NAV boosted up. He's got a great angle, and he spots the gun barrel. He knows exactly what's coming. That's a great headshot right out of the air, and now they pounce, and now they just decimate this retake. It's Megas to see if he can get any kills on the way out, but he's not stepping forward. He's not going for it. It'll be a pistol round for Team Liquid.
I love that when it's 4v1, you see them start to burst towards Banana. He hits that one tap from Magisk, and then everybody hesitates for a second. Everybody remembers, wait. Let's not throw this pistol. So sure enough, they all just hold for a moment. Magisk decides to creep his way back towards the mid, and just like that, it's Liquid to open up with pistol.
FAZE can actually upgrade to head armor for free, or not for free, but for the 250. So not as much as normally would have to. Didn't get touched in that round, so he's got head armor. He's got an SMG. It's going to be a stronger buy than maybe Liquid is expecting. And yeah, it's not anything you want to hang your hat on, but it's at least something for Astralis as they buy up around that as well. They have the smokes for their delay tactics. They've got the 5.7s for the close-up angles. We'll see what they can do.
Smoke early, no line of sight. Dupree tries to just go for the headshot, but instead loses his life. That opening frag going the way of Team Liquid. Met by a smoke. Device flexing the pistol.
Running the gauntlet. You have to admire from Liquid, though. You need to put on that early aggression. And a round like this against Astralis, you cannot let them sit back and just re-smoke these angles. So they find that one kill, they apply a little bit more pressure, force a little bit more utility out of the hands of Astralis, and a few more overextensions from Astralis as they try and get themselves back into this round. So a 5-on-3 player lead. But again, Astralis just rotating everyone into the right position. And now for Liquid, you praise the aggression early on. You have to praise the fact that they've slowed this down from here.
Sure enough. That one smoke still on Device. That's picked up from Dupree. So still trying to get their paws on all the utility they came into the round with. Flash on Glaive denies him any further movement from Arch. Maybe wanted to peek through mid, but there's 2 players close now. Oh man, finds a head turn but can't do anything about it. Last 2 CTs just bottled up on the bomb site. Device is gonna smoke himself, try to create a shroud of cover, try to set up ZipX, but it's only 1 kill here for Astralis. An unsuccessful pistol buy from them leads Liquid to the 2-0 start.
Yeah, that's what they needed. We'll see how much they can build upon it. This should be a much easier round. Maybe some light utility for Astralis, maybe a few upgraded pistols, but nothing too dangerous for this Liquid offense. They've even still got the MAC-10 on Stewie, so look for him to be aggressive as always in helping to clear out Banana and helping to clear out bomb sites when they eventually do attack. Magisk has the Zeus, and we love to see that.
That we do. Play it close on Banana, perhaps. Nope. Sticks it in apps.
Stewie and NAF are all the way already going to make their way up mid. Stewie started to peek towards wrap side at 1:30. That is a timing that I doubt the defense expects, but they also probably won't care a whole lot. That's a good find. Dink from Zip and a finish off from Glaive. That's going to force Liquid to go back towards the A bomb site. They still have no idea of Mega's position. He's going to get aggressive, and that Zeus, that's way too far. The Dink is quite nice, but it's not enough. And Twist falls back towards alt mid. He knows the flank will start coming in, but even Astralis is throwing a wrinkle in this as well. Dupree and Zip going to go through the house. That'll expose Twist's flank.
Maybe looking to add some more frags to the collection here. Twist hears Dupree stomping around. so be it. You know, the one real prize here is the AK in the hands of ZipX, and he's even going to topple Nitro in the end. Ooh, a third.
This has just turned into such an expensive round for Liquid, and so many rifles on the ground. Stewie needs to find a way to get one more. He's brought down low, and Zip is just being so aggressive and such a nuisance. But now he's just called it. He said, I've done the damage. There's no point in risking this AK-47. Let's make sure I keep it for the next round, and Liquid just has to cuddle into a corner and prevent themselves from going down to either Zip or the bomb blast. So Astralis get what they can out of the round, and it's not too shabby. 3 kills and an AK-47.
Could have been way less expensive, of course, for Liquid there. It was exiting the bomb site. They lost another couple bodies. SMG's chucked to the wayside. Luckily, Stewie does get his hands back on an AK. But that was a nice one. You saw Lige get initially dinked from the player, boosted back emo, and then once he's committed to that corner, you know he wants to fall off Banana, but the Coffin player jumps back into his position and finishes it off. So USPs still pack a punch if you knock them between the eyes.
That's a frustrating death to take against USPs as well. That'll piss you off real quick. Stewie with the AWP. He's switched into this early, looking for any aggression. We know, I mean, he's not your typical Omper. He is a very big playmaking Omper. He sees the jump. He wants the peek, and maybe he didn't spot it there. He sees the elbow, and now over the top, goes for one more. Just got to keep up the aggression level. Utility from his teammates. He wants to cut off the retreat, and off angle, though, is way too difficult to deal with.
Burned into the commitment, and Glaive was so ready for it. So that Opera's been removed.
That's a lot of utility used by the defense, but they're going to be happy with the kill they got from it.
They'll establish their 5v4. Bomb picked up by NAV, doubling back towards A, and still two defenders here. But they'll hold. So Lige maintains Banana.
It's a nasty little crossfire they have set up, especially considering Device can just take one shot and fall back into the site, take attention, and allow Magus to be effective. And this is slowed down so much due to the 4-on-5 that Dupree's even rotating over towards the A bomb site. So now there's no weakness, there's no deficiency. Dupree can watch rap side. That was a huge gap previously that Magus had to keep his eye on. But they can be much more comfortable in their setup now. 30 seconds.
Device hasn't even moved. Ice in his veins as he holds this angle. He knows he's got Magus to help him. I don't think Nav's going to be ready for this, but ooh, Device, he forfeits his hold. After sitting there for so long, he now knows 15 seconds. He just needs to play this off like a turret. Rock him like a shotgun, but no, he's not going to connect anything, and down goes Magus, empty-handed from pit. Oh, Nav even denying Dupree his fallback. Even if he wanted to run, if he wanted to join his teammates on this be safe, well, too bad for you.
That's sick. You're not going to have too many rounds where you're able to isolate Magus like that. One of the best pit players we have in the entire professional scene. In this round, he had no real say in what happened. Device, you mentioned it, as he sinks back into that bomb site, it's such a tough angle, and you even got to give him props for ignoring that first player that was already passed, that already swung wide on him. He knew that was such a low percentage kill, just wanted to try and add something to give his teammates a chance, and nothing works out for the defense. Despite the read, despite the positioning, Liquid going to go up 4-0 on this T side of Inferno.
Yeah, in hindsight, I'm sure he hopes, or maybe wishes, he had rather just held that angle instead. You know, I mean, he was facing NAF, and I don't think there would have been, other than maybe a flashbang well timed, I don't think there's a way NAF picks that up. But let's recall the round, let's rewind a bit. It's still Stewie getting burned into the open on Banana. He very much wanted that opening pick. He was given a couple of chances. But a good assisting Molotov from ZipX is what gave them the 5v4. Still, Team Liquid bounced back, and that's a 4-0 spree straight out the gate.
I don't even mind that aggression from Stewie whatsoever. Even though that doesn't pan out, if they want to hit that B bomb site later on in that round, if they choose to go to A or to B instead of A, there was only one smoke on Zip. They didn't have the counter flashes, they didn't have the Molotov, so even that death did provide something to the Team Liquid offense.
It's like 2 mollies, a smoke grenade, and double flashbangs just to get Stewie.
And you need to be able to apply that pressure to Astralis to say, we're more than willing to take this battle in Banana. We're more than willing to kind of have presence there and even take some utility damage just to force you to continuously use it in the future rounds.
Sure enough. I mean, that's their thing, right? Utility down Banana. I was talking to Sliggy on the ride over here, and he's just like, imagine how horrifying it would be to have to play against that all the time. So if you let them save it, you know what Astralis can get up to when they have the comfort of grenades in their back pockets. Here we go. Ooh, extinguishing their own Molotov this time around.
Yeah, misses the mark, it happens. Deep nade gonna come in. That one's gonna land right on Elige, so they make up for it. They make up for the missed Molotov. 53 damage nade onto Elige. That's a thing of beauty, but he's still gonna step through the smoke. But still, this is a lot. 2 smokes, 3 Molotovs, and an HE grenade used by Astralis.
Whoa, he is lucky to be alive, and even then, Glaive showers Stu in a hailstorm of bullets. And Elige on a sliver of health is also taken down.
He needed an immediate headshot there. He took a lot of damage. That's a good find for Astralis. Glaive down to 15 health. He's got no nades, but Zip does. He's got to put that smoke out. The pressure of the AWP, but still a 3-on-5.
Such a nice sequence of grenades down Banana. I feel like we just painted that picture, and then boom, we get it. And with a good camera angle too. You saw Elige desperate in that corner, where the grenade finds him immediately, where the Molotov then follows.
I like this shuffle of the defense. Glaive at low HP, go over towards the A bomb site where you have 2 teammates there. Don't weaken this B side. Device is there with the ops, or excuse me, not enough. He has got it at the M4. There's a huge gap in that smoke.
Yeesh.
That is going to be an absolute disaster when they commit here. Flashbang as well. I don't think they have any idea. Twist, he gets blinded at the last second, and now Device is put into play. He's got 1, and Naf gonna try and do something, anything. 2 kills, a plant would be perfect.
He's got the bomb, he's got the smoke to cover. And there we go, he commits this. 1v3 for the nasty Nafly. He's gonna hear those footsteps coming up Banana. There is that lurk still to his left, and the smoke begins to fade if they just play time, if they just wait. And he shouldn't be able to get much more, but he's got himself the first at least. If only he nails Dupree. A chance in the clutch, but it's all stripped away, and Astralis hit the board.
He had a real chance for that 1 versus 3, and you had to see him take that risk. Playing at the fountain in that fashion, finding that 1 player coming through ruins was beautiful. The second shot is just a narrow miss. AWP recovered for Astralis, and they've got their first round on the board.
And he knew that 3rd one was also on Banana. Very doable, but it slips by. I love this smoke as well, not only to give cover for the bomb plant, but also the way he used it afterwards really put Glaive in a pickle as he tries to round Cough inside.
He was really hoping someone would turn that corner from CT spawn, unaware that he'd be able to pick him off.
Yeah, we talked about the individuals not, being all too wild on Nuke until Dupree slips through in the second half, but Naf 9-1 straight out the gate here in the opening 5 rounds.
Oh, more aggression down Banana. This time it's put down by Stewie. The follow-up nade, though, is going to get 1, and even had some more chip on a Naf. 34 HP, but it's okay. He's got the ult. On an Inferno, that's got to be a bit more supportive, a bit more passive. You won't see it take too many opening duels, so that HP can still be managed. And Astralis happy to take a risk. They've had so much pressure applied onto their defense in Banana at the B bomb site. This time Glaive is just going to get an early rotation to wrap side of A. It's Megas all alone on the other side of the map.
For a guy whose individual level has kind of maybe fallen off a bit and who's even been self-critical of his own stats, I feel for Stewie in this series. I mean, the amount of times he was damaged by nades on Nuke, now as well, just constantly getting battered by them.
Stewie does a lot of dirty rolls, and he's going to have a lot of those games.
Yeah.
It is almost that, he's not your typical entry fragger, but those players who are that aggressive and that kind of, the tip of the spear to gain map control, you do sometimes just have the bad luck games. Glaive waiting with the UMP.
Good for damage, but not the kill. Elige will still surpass him. Device has to just tuck into the graveyard stairs. This is a big site pinch. And another quick headshot, but now he reveals himself. A good chance at a second, but Nitro gives safe passage to Twist, who comes out Palace. Bomb picked back up in ample time for the plant. Magisk has to save. Liquid, sure, they give 1 round up to Astralis. A near 1v3 clutch from Naf. This time turned right back to a Liquid round win.
And Astralis doesn't have the money to sustain this round loss. They're all gone. Megas doesn't have any money. It might be doable if Megas could have dropped something over to a teammate, but all he can manage now is a pistol, maybe an SMG. This will be a pretty brutal one. Team Liquid taking a 5-1 lead. That round is all Elige. The opening kill onto Glaive in the spawn arches opens up that wrap side, which makes it such a difficult defense. That M4 in the site has to stem the tide coming around the bomb site, and Device has nowhere to go with the AWP. Liquid looking much more confident on this map on their T side, taking control, being patient, progressing in steps across the map to attack these bomb sites.
Again, as it's been, right? These first 2 maps sometimes feel like a technicality. It's all about getting to the 3rd. sometimes with bumps in the road on the way. So far, so good here for Liquid.
Chicken slaughtered out of spawn.
Good riddance.
Makis with the creek behind the core. I thought he had the angle. Elige down to 1 HP. They'll recycle that weapon on the CT side. It's on Glaive, the only remaining member without any kind of armor whatsoever, so he might want to pass that off himself. Look how deep, look how far back Liquid is. They're still just content with the 5-on-4. Twist is close up towards mid. Naf and Nitro just joining him off T-ramp, but Stewie is so far back looking for a flank, looking for aggression.
dupreeh finds timing on Twists. That's an easy execution and a bit of a delayed trade. Nobody else was ready to come around the corner quite like Twists.
That's a super delayed trade, and actually that makes this round so dangerous, especially considering Elige is still on the board and he's got 1 health. You almost feel like him and Stewie should be in swap their positions, where Elige with 1 health is watching for that kind of a flank. They give him the op at least, but dupreeh is creeping ever closer, and that's the bomb. He's going to spot it roll down. He's going to get a free kill. Stewie's nowhere close to being able to trade that, and again, dupreeh wreaking havoc. Big kill on the device, but they still need to get into the bomb site.
Yeah, they just have to forego dupreeh. Screw it, ignore him. Oh, but they run into another pistol. They run into Zipex, who does substantial damage. It's pushed into the 2 versus 2, but HP still on the side of Astralis. And now an op for dupreeh. Chucks that SMG to the side. Stewie's gonna go ahead and try to get this plant, but they're being pinched, and they're being plucked off of the site. Stewie has to come in with the clutch. He knows dupreeh is up close on the box, but where has Glaive got off to? About to come around the corner, the leg spotted. Stewie can't hit his shot right away, and as he anticipates dupreeh, so be it. That's Astralis with a second. Coming off of a big play here from dupreeh, catching Twists with no trade potential, and then he fakes the fallback. Runs through apps, smokes it off as if he had fallen to balcony, and instead comes back through alt mid. What a really smart play from him.
Yeah, what a beast dupreeh's been in this series so far on these 2 maps. And you talked about the frustration of Stewie being very critical of some of his performance lately. That's a round right there. It's usually not the rounds of going in towards a banana and taking so much damage. And this one right here, a winnable 1 versus 2 that he played to perfection, and just he's going to be so frustrated that Glaive does not show his full face around that corner, that he just sees the elbow, gives away his position.
So a second from Astralis, and one they're going to be happy to take on this CT side, kind of robbing it there with the half buy. They did a really good job of still keeping enough cash and yet giving themselves enough tools to make things possible. That's going to reward them now as they come off of the win. Rifles in the mix, a Krieg save, the utility added. Glaive blind but not punished, and now a double peek from the site itself. That's just going to sweep away the arch wrap, leaving Naf and Twists alone.
That's a defense that almost accidentally is perfect. 2 players falling into the site at the right moment, and when the presence comes around, they realize what's coming, and they just have so many bodies there. Naf has good position though, an opening kill, but again, not aware of dupreeh's spot. He's fallen into pit. Magisk with the off angle. They are so good at trading and following up their teammates. 5-3 as this defense gets a foothold on the map.
You get punched in the mouth, you turn your head to retaliate, and it's a slap in the back of the head all of a sudden. The positioning so nice. dupreeh's kill off of balcony as well. I mean, you saw the player in apps try to give chase, and he just slides right off the rail.
Man, when Liquid watches that replay of that round, they're just like, how are we supposed to deal with that? How are we supposed to just deal with accidentally having the perfect setup? Astralis had no idea that wrap play was coming, but when it did, they were just in a perfect spot to deal with it.
So relegated to pistols they are. And this, just like after the early success of Team Liquid on Nuke, is like, okay, Astralis are back in, of course.
It's dupreeh again leading the way as well. He's the one on the CT side, and remember, it was the CT side of Nuke that second half where he really jumped up the scoreboard very, very quickly. He's doing it here on Inferno as well. I think 4 kills in the previous round. He's up to 9-5, a pretty quiet game before these 2 rounds come into play.
Just happy to take challenges now, knowing it is just blocks, and they take nothing away from Astralis. 5 survivors here for the CTs is going to be great in terms of getting the CT side back on track. All the cash they could hope for. Immediate op bot up.
It's that turnaround where they win what dupreeh had the SMG to get the 4 kills. that he transitioned into the AWP. They had one Krieg on the other side, but mostly pistols, so they get a bunch of free rifles, and now they add 2 more rounds onto it where they only lose 1 player across those 2 rounds. What an economic swing for Astralis.
Over the course of 2-3 rounds, it's just everybody's sitting on stacks of cash.
And now with this 3-round streak, they've won 4 of the last 5. So defense finding a way to get back into it. And Liquid's gonna call the timeout. Talk things over and try and figure out a new approach, a new angle of attack. NAF at 10-5. dupreeh is matching that 10-5 himself.
Ja, men det er jo det, der du nævnte på et tidspunkt, det synes jeg, vi skal køre. På et tidspunkt.
You know, it's curious. THEIVES, who's been one of the higher-rated players in the last couple of months for Astralis, both these maps not really needed. Currently 2-7, mirroring Stewie.
Continuing some woes from his previous tournament as well. I believe ECS, where he had a very rough time.
Sure.
Glaive referencing that in an interview as well, specifically mentioning THEIVES' performance on Train wasn't anything to talk about, or at least in any kind of a good way. Molotov deep down mid, gonna prevent Liquid from retreating if they wanted to. Stewie's picked off, Elige is down at 5 health, and it's an absolute disaster for Liquid, and they're standing in a nade magnet. That choke point, you cannot spend time there.
Poor Elige just had his cheeks stuffed with frag grenades, just like a chipmunk. Shrapnel all over. Can't help but feel for him. Not only losing Stewie right then after, but not even able to get into the mix. You know, we hadn't seen that B aggression, that banana utility really come into any real impact in a few rounds, and then right back to it.
Well, now Astralis has the money to constantly refresh those nades, so I think we'll be seeing a lot more. This would be huge. If NAF can find this kill, and he just missed the timing. He got the dink, I believe, through the barrel. Nitro, wow. Oh, he's gonna get picked off through the smoke, and Magus gets a nade kill onto Elige. He cleans him up. What a brilliant sequence. Twist is left to pick up the pieces. It's gonna be a quad kill for Magus, and he's just smiling.
Hot damn, hell of a hold out of Magisk. Frag grenade added into the mix. Through the barrel, nade, app sprag,
smoke kill.
through smoke. Like, wow, do they have a chance?
He's laughing like a madman.
Jeez, that's got to feel real good. Astralis back in full control of the situation, even after the buyback device sitting on 12,000. Near 10K for dupreeh and Magisk as well. So Team Liquid, I mean, sure, they've got 5 rounds on their T side. Thank God they had early success. But it went from being in control of the situation to, well, maybe we'll have a good CT side. 5 rounds to close here in the first 15.
Look how much more confidence Astralis is starting to get towards Banana. This time the deep smoke pushing down towards the half wall. That's all of Glaive's utility to get this, and Zip still has 1 smoke remaining. So you have to imagine eventually Glaive will swap out for THEIVES with the AWP. Actually, maybe not. THEIVES doesn't have utility himself.
Hoping they're deep, they'll go for that flash and try and bring it back on Banana. Glaive will take substantial damage, but so be it. However, timing plays for the smoke mid, and then dupreeh still survives the test. All too easy. Gets flash, finds cover, regains vision, and can just go ahead and fight some more if he'd hoped to. It's desperation sinking in for Liquid as they just try to push up Haycart.
This pairing of Stewie and Elige in the first map of this series on Nuke did a pretty decent job with the T side. They were the 2 with the responsibility to take control of the outer yard for Team Liquid. They didn't do too shabby at all. Here on Inferno towards Banana, they started out pretty well. They've struggled in these past 5 rounds. There's been only 2 kills, or I should say it this way. Astralis has only lost 2 players in the last 4 rounds.
Ooh.
They've made so much money, they haven't had any issues. Liquid have not even put a dent in this defense. And now comes the task. There's 4 rounds left in the half. I don't even think Astralis is going to have any economic issues because they have so much money at this point.
Yeah,
Liquid's got to add some rounds onto this the hard way.
Buys to the very end. Not even being able to get out a T-ramp at this point. Utility in their faces already as Astralis are on fire. I think they have 6 rounds, but 5 in a row. After a close showing on Nuke, I'm sure the strong start here on Inferno is feeling good for Liquid. Right now, they should be numb, knowing that they are up against rifles to the end, like you said.
And Astralis just knows. They know they've just owned Banana in these past 5 rounds, so Glaive is the only one there just spotting, and he sees no presence, which allows 4 defenders, 2 on Rap side, Device with the op and Halls, and Magus can pit to have a strong position if the set piece does come through. So Liquid, they've got to figure out what's coming, but if they go back towards Banana, Glaive's going to spot it so early. There'll be time for Zip to rotate back towards the B-bomb site.
And he throws the Molotov at the perfect time. Not so late as to give them any footing past it, just as they were about to try and challenge Banana. So Zip already in position, not even spotting the tease, he gets into position in time.
And Dupree rotating over as well. He's got 1 flashbang. That is the only piece of utility at that B bomb site. So that 1 counter flash can be massive. 25 seconds left, and Liquid is rotating back towards A. Stewie maybe throwing a small fake if he can. Big kill from Twist. And now Magus said he was the best in pit, and he's got to deliver. He's got 2 here. Cannot connect with the 3rd. Naf and Twist will have a 2-on-3. Plenty of time to get this bomb planted.
Twist is going to take that position in pit. Naf plants on the back column. And the retake comes in the form of 3 players here for Astralis. A trident of a retake here as they all take up a different position and look to skewer this A site. And poor Naf doesn't feel comfortable enough to reposition. He just holds. Tries to lock this down. Smokes begin to fade and the retake's on. Bomb near halfway gone. Naf has nowhere to run to and Twist is trying to dodge grenades. Gets into the first gunfight. Sprays for the second, but he can't nail it. And just like that, it's Astralis with a 7th. Again, they'll take the retake. I mean, Magis, 2 kills, nearly a 3rd on pit. He had everything to do and he stepped up to plate.
Yeah, he's just such a phenomenal in that position, and Liquid rotating back. I mean, that's tough. You have to turn that corner with that little time remaining on the clock. And even Naf looked like he had an advantage in the fight in the post plant, spamming through the smoke. Dupree somehow just gets a little bit luckier and wins it. That forces Twist to get aggressive, to take some risks. And even if he got both kills in that scenario, Dupree was going to finish him off through the smoke.
Sure enough.
2-round lead for Astralis, 7-5. No matter how good of a start you have, going 0 for 6 in the past 6 rounds is going to be very rough.
And a variation in the setup here. We haven't seen anybody boosted. Of course, there will be one now. Already trying to push through smoke there. Could be walking into a meat grinder. Assists everywhere, but Stewie will bail them out for only a moment. Every kill from the CT side, other than the last, comes in the form of an assist with it. Just completely crossfired there. Perfect setup. We talked about that one setup on the A site where, you know, Astralis just kind of got lucky in doing the perfect hold. Well, this one as well. Slight variation, and it's exactly what they needed at this exact round. Team Liquid just try to puncture their way through mid, and they find no footing.
Well, Astralis has been waiting for that exact play for some time. They've been stacking 4 players at that A-bomb site and leaving 1 player alone in Banana at the B site so many times. It didn't actually have an impact on this round, but Liquid spots 3 players in brackets. There's still 1 player in pit. So when Twist tries to run through that Molotov to wrap around those players in bracket, he's got to be so confused why there's a 4th player just waiting in the pit. That's going to be frustration, realizing you're being outplayed, outread every step of the way.
What a tear this has been from the Danes. Really setting themselves up for a strong second half. Unless Liquid can bring it back in these last closing rounds. Shouldn't be able to do too much here. They're working with lackluster utility and even weaker guns. Down goes Nafly already. If Nitro opts for the peak, he'd be doomed. Talked about this consistent man advantage at this A site, the stacking of the numbers, and just again, a flashbang that doesn't work out their way. T's just ripped apart. Nitro, 1v5, shut down as expected. What is this, 8 rounds in a row?
8 rounds in a row, and what, 9 of the last 10? This has just been... This is incredible. Astralis just putting their feet down and preventing Liquid from adding anything onto these 5. They got these 5 very early on, and usually you're like, great, we have 5, you know, in the first 6 rounds of this game. You can just add 1 or 2 more, and that's a pretty solid T side of Inferno. This has just been a disaster. A complete breakdown of this Team Liquid offense. Dupree with 17 kills, Magus with 14. And there's just no gaps. At this point, if you're Liquid, every time you go in Banana, you're losing health. You're probably losing one player to nades, to spam, to some kind of a pick. If you go towards A, there's a stack there because you haven't been able to establish any kind of control towards the B bomb site in the past 8 rounds. What are you supposed to do?
They'll try to figure that out with this pause called. As the final round of the half is their chance to break past 5 to.
This same thing happened on Nuke, remember, is Liquid had a pretty decent start and Astralis was able to put a stop to it and Liquid was able to win the last 2 rounds of the half. Not this time. This time Liquid just has to fight for the last, for this 15th round.
And before this series even started, you know, Maniac pointed out 6 of the last 7 BO3s, or 6 of the 7 BO3s in 2019 are 3 mappers. Is the gap being extended here? You know that Liquid wanted to close the year with a series win.
That's a good find. I actually really like that switch up of the defense. Instead of, you know, dumping utility on Banana the way you have done, put Device there with the AWP, see what he can do for you. He gets cleaned out, unfortunately, with ease by Stewie. But the idea I really liked. Glaive and Zip to defend.
They'll nab their 5v4, but what do they do with it? Where do they go from here? Stu floats back from B. Greatest thing about that Device kill as well is if they do decide to sink their teeth into the A site, it's finally not going to be stacked for once with majority members.
It's only been 11 frags for Team Liquid in these last 8 rounds. They just have not had any fragging production for a team that is so skilled. That cannot happen. They need this round. Dupree, he's been such a beast, and he continues it. A spray transfer from hell, and Twist is left alone. 1 versus 4, and a 10-5 lead for Astralis.
Incredible. I mean, he can barely believe it. That snap back down onto them. You'd think Liquid would find that footing. We just said, finally, no man advantage, and yet it's not even needed. Dupree, a beast. But there you have it. The first half concludes with Astralis doubling up the score of Team Liquid, 10-5 after the CT side. We said that would be a great way for them to start this second map, seeing as it was the pick of Liquid. But now Team Liquid have themselves found back against the wall. So we'll be back after this break with the second pistol. A start to the first half that thought maybe history repeats itself, maybe the 3-map trend continues, but this man had something else to say. Magisk, you put it so eloquently, him and Dupree with that spray transfer from hell to close the half. Just an incredible hold. Finally, it looked like Liquid were going to break through. Finally, maybe close with a round or two, but absolutely not. The Danes did not let off the throats of Liquid for that entire spree of victories.
And I have to give so much credit to that defense. I mentioned it in that last round. Well, it ends in a 9-round run, and there's only 12 kills coming out for Team Liquid. Astralis just put a complete stop to everything they wanted to do across the map on their offense, and without any kind of individual production. You can, I mean, I'm crediting Astralis. You can maybe pin it up to maybe some lost confidence from just getting so decimated for so long for Liquid. But regardless, there was not a single bright spot. After getting to 5 rounds for Liquid, there was not a single good thing that they can look at in that first half and say, we did this very, very well.
Nope, not one. A couple mismatched timings really kind of got the ball rolling. The fact that Astralis robbed away weapons on a free upgrade to get that spree. Rough stuff, but obviously Astralis understand the weight of this second pistol. It could be an easy day in the office.
This is a big stack for Liquid at the top of Banana. The round is won or lost here, depending on how this goes. Magisk, there's the flash. Excuse me, it's a decoy over. Twist doesn't turn, it goes right past him. I don't even think Magisk spotted the numbers either.
NAVI decides to retreat through apartments, but Device is still tucked away. Twist's taken away, and Stewie 2K popped. Device somehow claws his way back into the man advantage.
All that aggression. Liquid's going to be really frustrated with that one. They could have just backed off. They could have just controlled Chop Banana and rotated someone back the standard way. Instead, they risk it all, and this has been brutal. Nitro over in Graveyard. He's got the right idea. Good position to stop Dupree and Zip, but it's going to take a lot of nerve on his part to stand his ground because this is going to be a fake. Glaive and Device started to put out utility. No one moving just yet. No commitment either from Glaive or Device. It's NAF who's rotated the cheat over towards the B bomb site, leaving Nitro all alone. But with this much time being run after the fake, Liquid just have no clue what is happening on the map.
Nope, they are just left to be victims here. At the will of Astralis, will they crumble?
Oh no, Nitro is giving it up. He's giving up the angle. He's going to be so frustrated. He's gooshed immediately as well, and there's nothing he can do.
Oh.
That is the bomb site. That is the round likely lost for Liquid.
Potentially the map and match off the back of it as well. I mean, he had the patience to stay, unless NAF comes in with godlike heroics, but not even. 1 versus 3 attempt here for Elige. Needs a quick headshot and finds nothing. 11 rounds for Astralis. A 4 versus 5 pistol victory. A fake based on 2 decoys towards B. Drawing out Liquid exactly where they want them.
Well, we mentioned Device having a bit of a tough time, and especially in this map, not having a whole lot of impact. These 2 kills are massive. Those are the 2 kills that really weaken this defense. Denies information, denies control, puts NAF in limbo between both of the bomb sites. 11-5 lead, a 10-round run now for Astralis.
Liquid coming in with a force. Doesn't get them too much. A trio of CZs, a Deeg, and a UMP. Bare tidbits of utility too. Astralis just creep their way across the map. They've had no struggle taking anything for their own. Control has been in their hands, in their firm grasp, for 10 rounds in a row. Flash towards mid, meant to activate Dupree. Elige blinded by the second. The follow-up's there for him. One rifle creeps contact towards the B site. Bombs coming over towards it. Stewie with a nice time smoke gets up in their face. NAF, the best equipped to try and hold this. That smoke very well could play against them. May push Astralis back.
It's the only smoke they've got at that B bomb site. All that's left is one flashbang from Stewie. And Astralis doesn't have to commit with this one. Again, just a fake. Magisk all alone. There's the flashbang coming through. Defense starting to shift over. Nitro has left the A bomb site. There is a smoke in front of Elige, so that's going to delay things. And now they know it's coming. This is a big advantage for Liquid. They can win this. Smokes in all the choke points. Oh, and a jump up from Elige. He's got a headshot. Not the second.
Oh, but they still manage to clamber their way back into the site. There's just one player still here. Twists in the deep corner, finds himself alone. And Debris clears it, but he's dropped regardless. Glaive tries to close the gap with 7 seconds left. And he jump SMG headshot. No way. Plant just in the nick of time. And NAF, who was best equipped from the get-go, finds himself in near-mirrored situations. Ump and half HP. But where is he? Glaive asks himself, his head turned back. A preemptive shot from NAF crossing over towards box. Drive-by, damage done! And Liquid, with a saving grace, used the force buy to come back with at least a 6th round here.
I think they get very lucky, though. I think Glaive actually ran out of bullets in that 1 versus 1. I love the movement he had. He shifted away from that box in the corner behind the center of the missile boxes and just not able to win that fight when he commits to it. NAF, plenty of time to recover a Krieg. And that is a sigh of relief. That is the first round Liquid has won. They just lost 10 in a row. This is the first one they've won since very early, since round number 6. There's still a chance for them to recover in this map, in this series. And this has got to be the starting point. A 2nd round win after losing the pistol.
Yeah. And even then, a 2nd round win that comes in the form of a 26 HP difference. I mean, you run that back between Glaive and Nafly, and it's a 50-50. Straight up UMP duel to decide. But Astralis will stagnate on 11. For now. Of course, they bounce back with a buy of their own. 3 rifles in the mix, utility for the pistol players.
Boilers smoked off. Just at the right moment. A lot of rifles for Astralis to challenge with, though. Glaive and Dupree with 2 AK-47s. Glaive gonna lead the way. Oh, that flashbang could absolutely destroy Nitro. This could be so brutal if it's tossed out, but for the moment it's silent. Stewie off angle with the Krieg, SMG close up.
Neither playing counter flash. Both so susceptible to it. Oh, but they don't go. It's a dry peek from Glaive. Punished by the Krieg as what's left of Astralis runs back the other way, and that's an open B site. They just need to sprint for this.
There's just that's a huge mistake from NAF. This is gonna be really tough now. This round was in the hands of Liquid, no problem. And now all of a sudden they have to fight for it, and they could lose so much. Device is gonna miss an opportunity on top of the box. This good kill from Nitro, that's huge. Established control of construction in ruins.
That's gonna draw Zipex closer towards it. Big frag happening in construction there. Zipex gonna get a flash. There could be 2 CTs fully blind. They are, but still they spray. Stewie saves the day. NAF's mistake may be negligible at this point unless Device comes up with a massive 1v4. The damage is so substantial. But alas, he fumbles in the end. That is Liquid with a 7th, cutting the lead to just 4. The CT side starting to get rolling. Thank God they recuperate after losing pistol.
Yeah, that's also a crazy, crazy round to almost lose for Liquid. NAF is the sole defender at that B-bomb site, going for the flank and not even expecting them to fall back and readjust. And listen, that can always be miscommunication. It's hard to judge because that could always be the call that they're committed towards the A-bomb site and NAF just gets blindsided. 4 rounds away for Liquid to tie things up at 11. They've finally gotten Astralis back to pistols, though, and it's been so long. Astralis hasn't had to worry about money pretty much this entire game until now.
Nothing grenades, empty on the explosion. T's wasting no time taking map control here, already starting to parade their way through apps. Oh! And Alige just completely dumpstered there towards the lane of A. That's going to draw a rotate from Stu. Doubling up on Arch side here, susceptible to the wrap. NAF, don't make the same mistake. That's information gain. Bomb dropped by ramp.
Deep smoke as well. Not as deep as you'd like, actually. That could allow a bit of space for Astralis to start heading in towards Banana. Mega's still going to keep the bomb at the base of Banana for the moment. But at least things have been evened up. And NAF calling away for the rotation. Stewie's in CT spawn. He was starting to kind of posture as if he was going to run over, and they called it off. Dupree and Zip, what kind of a fake? Do they want to at least attack Rap side and keep Stewie occupied? Give Glaive and Magus a 2-on-1 at the B-bomb site. No utility as well for Astralis on the attack, so it's just got to be another stunning shot to open this up.
They crack the whip towards A to start this. Dupree still in the mix. There it is, though. A cross made impossible without a smoke. Fast rotation from Stewie, dropping the bomb. NAVI finding cover. ZipX not finding any damage back the other way. This one leans towards Liquid yet again.
You could see the idea, though. Astralis almost is able to pull that off. Dupree was guarding the wrap side on the rotation. He was able to pick Nitro.
Sure.
So if they just get that one kill on NAF, and they can fight Stewie, maybe they have something. So picks up the AK-47, is fine to just survive the round. He's got the money for armor and nades after this. Might be able to get Twist, who's come back to investigate in towards Library. Gonna take the gun away at the last moment. No bonus money. It's gone all wrong.
That one's got to sting a bit. But still, I feel like this happened on Nuke as well. Dupree starts to sneak his way to the top of the scoreboard. 24-10 now.
Remember, Dupree, his success in these two maps, though, it's not that he's been inefficient or not good on the T side, but his impact has mostly been on that defensive side. He's been an absolute monster on the CT sides.
Good point.
Offense a little bit quieter.
So let's see who picks up the pace then. Who takes his place? Run boost, cross mid, spots nothing. Early presence up banana. Device gonna go ahead and play through the Molotov, at least the first one. He thought he'd find more footing. But the utility damage is good. Loses more than half his health. At a second frag, misses the mark this time.
Yeah, but Naf and Stewie have a Molotov and a smoke each. They use the majority of Elijah's nades to keep Astralis at bay for the first 15 seconds or so. So plenty of counter utility if there is any kind of executor set piece towards the B bomb site. Liquid, the defense is set up quite nicely, especially Dupree's been brought down to 11 health, trying to probe in towards halls. So all 5 players from Astralis are gonna head here. Good opening fight for Stewie, and now you'll start to see the Molotovs just be brutal for this defense.
Ooh, smoke. They'd have to run through blind. NAVI needs to retreat, and the last few bullets on the spray is where he picks up that kill, because you know Glaive's about to give chase. If he catches you on the reload hiding in through construction, then suddenly you've got poor Stewie alone in the bomb site about to be pinched.
Yeah, that was about to be a really scrappy round if Glaive was able to turn that corner with Naf on a reload. A little bit of damage comes right back through onto Elige through the smoke with 3 defenders here. This bomb site is closed for Astralis. They have utility. They've got 2 smokes, a Molotov, and a flashbang, but there's way too many bodies. There's going to be way too many bullets coming through these smokes, and that Molotov delaying even longer.
Yep, another molly and smoke ready to go. Just burn that clock down. Stewie decides to dodge the molly that would have taken him out of new box. He'll play on oranges instead. It's still NAF set. This crossfire going to be enough, you'd think. Device creates a bit more space. NAF at that, huge health advantage. Bomb planter denied, and that is the clean sweep once Stewie goes down. 2 points of a lead is all that they have now. Astralis have given up 4 rounds in a row. Again, because of that second round win, because of the successful force buy from Team Liquid.
There's always a second life in Astralis, though, and that's what's got to be scary, is they had such a big lead, a 10 to 5 lead at the half, where they can just say, we have some space to work with. Let's start seeing how they're going to play this defense, how they're rotating. And Astralis has always had that knack of figuring things out. The deeper this second half goes, they'll have some ideas. So Liquid have at least survived the first salvo. Closing the gap, obviously, a good chance to make it 10 to 11, but the final portion of this second half is going to be very strong for Astralis, you have to believe.
A bit of a ripper. And a blindside. So all right, versus Pistols, Team Liquid not going to feign in their confidence at all. Happy to force the fights and flex the advantage that they have in these rifles. So 5v3.
Woof.
Make it 4.
Their deagles are on point in this game. That is a nice shot, but Stewie needs to clean that up, and he almost gave it away. He gets dinked even. Device recovers that M4, so Stewie a bit sketchy, but it's all good. Zippa left alone in a 1 versus 4. Elige is not hurt at the A bomb site. Twist is not hurt at the A bomb site, and they've got a crossfire in brackets. As soon as this smoke clears, Zip has no chance of making any passage into the A bomb site.
Done. And Liquid find themselves on fire. You've got to think to yourself, if you're Liquid, man, you're thanking the fact that NAVI's finding form. 21 kills for him. Next closest being 12. So for now, he's doing enough. And that's something that we have to talk about in terms of Liquid just as of late. NAVI taking that place as the top fragger yet again.
There's just so many good players on this Team Liquid side. I mean, outside of Elige and Twist, it's got to be hard for the other 3 players to be consistently like one of the best. But Naf has always been an X factor for this team. He's been an X factor for every team that he's played on. He is one of those guys that if he shows up, it's just like you don't necessarily always expect it, but he can carry your team through a map. He's starting to do that here, as you mentioned, 21 and 14. He's the saving grace at the moment. Outside of the one blunder of pushing down Banana, he's played a very, very good defensive half so far.
A defensive half that now finds itself in a double op setup, Jason.
Ooh. All right, let's see how this goes. Stewie's gonna take one towards the B bomb site. Nitro has the other at A. It looks like he almost wants to peek down mid. Deep Molotov. And this time, there's not a barrage of nades down B. We'll see what Astralis does with that information.
Magisk somewhat flustered. Caught between the two mollies, loses 40 of his health.
Astralis has gained a lot of control on A-holes. Dupree's already at Boiler.
And we've seen him rip some entries from this position. He decides to jump out. Luckily for Elige, not caught with a grenade. He had fallen back enough, and he's going to fall back some more.
Man, it's only Stewie at the B bomb site with an op. And he was at the CT spawn side. He was in that choke point, so I like this repositioning from him. He had to do it, but they need more players over. The tough part is the next closest rotation, the next closest support is Nitro, and he's got an op as well. Liquid is about to be locked out of this bomb site just due to the fact they don't have the weaponry to keep hold of it. Op misses its first shot. And they're getting closer. One for Stewie as he backs behind the smoke.
Yeah, he at least gets that bit of an advantage here. He'll spam some more shots. It's everybody else on the rotation through spawn, but Device gets him from the top rope. We question the Aubers and whether they'd be locked out, but at least each op gets one frag, maintains the man advantage, and damage done further to Device. Smoke nullifies Zipex, and the entirety of the retake comes through this CT spawn. Does Device decide to go through this? With 13 health, he's really caught in this position, has to commit to the corner, and the pressure then falls on Glaive and Zip. A molly that misses its mark will not fluster him, will not force him to show his hand. Bomb so far gone at this point. 3/4 of the way ticked on, and Liquid still, they'll try to force this retake, but it's the crossfire, and the time burnt off. He needs to stick the defuse, and the question is, does he have it? 5, oh, yes! So damn close.
That's about as close as you get. What a retake. They were stalled out by that smoke. That was perfect, and they had to stick it and let the second player cover against Zip. A brilliant win for Liquid to tie things up 11-11. They themselves now on a 6-round run.
That's incredible. 6 rounds. I mean, we talked about that big spree from Astralis on their CT side, but their spree of rounds started later than that of Liquid.
This is great from Liquid. This kind of a comeback after losing the pistol. They've got money now. 7,000 on Nitro, 6,000 on Elige. Even switching into the double op setup, they don't get punished whatsoever. So now you start to see a little bit of confidence, a little bit of smiles on the face of Liquid, and it was grim for a long while there, and they have sustained. The mentality is strong.
Oh,
look how lucky that is from Nitro. You want to talk about margins through the smoke? He'll take it.
That defuse, man. I mean, you saw Glaive just playing the pillar for the fact of time. He thought the time would be enough, and it was that close.
That positioning that negated the Molotov that you mentioned, yeah. Deep nade, damage onto Glaive in Vegas, return onto NAF. 3 players to defend at top Banana for Team Liquid. They want this control, and they're not going to have it. But Stewie does burn Device from the grave.
A trade they'll happily take. NAF has to now play support, seeing as he's also dropped to 39.
They've only got one piece of utility at this B bomb site. It's that flashbang on NAF. How do you play this round? Glaive is already starting to make his way in through arches. He's going to look the wrong way at the wrong time. But Elige has stopped cold.
I don't think Elige knows he's crossed. There's a world where Elige is confident that he's found the timing to cover this.
Well, Glaive has now put himself in a position where he can pretty much assassinate either the B bomb site or the A bomb site. Wherever Astralis wants to go, Glaive is in such an advantageous position. This is going to be so tough to clear out. This is going to be a very difficult round for Liquid to win because Glaive can just decimate anyone. And he's not even actually going to go for the aggression, open up the site. Oh, he's going to be able to cut off rotations. He misses the spray, misses his chance. Back to the A bomb site we go, but this defense is pinned down.
Right, they're not ready. They are so pinned into this. Glaive on one side and the majority of the team, everybody else about to hit them up from lane. A Molotov that could hit the mark. Will this be enough to convince them back? Can they hold? It's crucial that Glaive goes down first, but Nitro so pinned in. Elige into the mix. Able to hold the cross. Further damage as Liquid keep themselves on fire. Liquid take back their lead.
I have no idea how Liquid won that round. Glaive misses that kill, and that was a big one to not have. And you can see the smile. I think Elige knows they should have never been able to recover. And that interview Glaive gave before this event began, he was very critical of himself, blaming himself for the loss against Mousesports at ECS. This is another missed opportunity that Glaive could have had a 1 round, could have stopped this streak, and Liquid are building into Inferno.
What a message it would send if they actually managed to surmount an even bigger spree of round wins than their opponent. Astralis looked untouchable in that first half.
This is the first lead Liquid has had since round 10 in this game.
Incredible.
It regained it finally. Nitro waiting with the AWP, hoping someone's gonna come. Ooh. That is a great flick. I think he just blew off his wrist.
Yeah. Poor Glaive spam then further. Okay, Liquid. How incredible. You think 9 rounds in a row on the CT side, 10 if you include second pistol. Again, this game wouldn't have been tied up at 11. Remember, this starts with a round 2 forced by defuse.
Stewie and NAF to defend against the final play that Astralis have in their pocket in this round. They've got 1 smoke for the spawn choke point, 1 flashbang as well. NAF is low HP though, and Stewie out in the open. This flashbang could catch him. This defense is deceptively weak. But Stewie with the first kill can tuck himself back into a corner while they look for him. NAF can be effective. Good second kill for Stewie. And this is all disappeared, all the danger. Good shot from Dupree, a second follow-up. Very slim chance to win the round, but a plant is gonna be a thing of beauty.
Yeah, go ahead and get it in. Safely tucks back behind oranges. However, Elige already ready to come out from coffins. It would take a miracle from this Deagle, especially considering he only has 3 bullets in the mag. Oh, but he only needs 3 bullets. Jason! Oh my God, what an incredible round that could have been. Fully puckered Team Liquid in that 1v1.
Yo, Dupree had a grin on his face before the attack began. I think he was telling his teammates, he was calling the victory. He was straight up saying, I'm gonna win this, and he almost just did it. What beautiful shots with the Deagle. So that's a win for Liquid, an expensive one. And the nightmare now for Liquid is, yes, you've had so much success. You're on an 8-0 run of your own, but you don't have a lot of money in the bank. NAF is bought down to 0. Stewie beneath 1,000. They cannot afford to get reset this late in the half, in the map.
You know, we praised the fact that Astralis gave up, like, or that Liquid were only getting like 12 kills in the last 9 rounds of that first half. And while we have to compare and contrast the sprees of rounds in a row, it's been different. Team Liquid getting through with 1v1s, with 0.1 second left on a defuse. Like, by the skin of their teeth, they've kept this going. But that's okay, because the ball's rolling. 2 rounds in the lead. And a slow creep from NAF is not going to pan out for him. Device gets the opening pick, and he's just going to go charging straight through this. He knows that Stewie's near, but a missed shot gives Jake a chance at bat. 1 kill and substantial damage onto Glaive. The rotation from Elige is the next in line, but it's 4 members of Astralis in the site already.
The nade could stop the plant, though, and it doesn't go deep enough. It falls well short as Glaive switches up the plant spot. So Elige's got to see what he can do at the very least, but remember, the money on NAF is at 0. Stewie at 1,100, they might just want to save this. This is a tough retake, and if they don't get something soon, they might want to choose to back off and preserve what money they have, what weaponry they have. All 3 committed, though, in towards Ruins. A good trade. Advantages towards Astralis all across the board, and that Molotov seals it. No chance for a retake now for Liquid.
Nope, this one's done. This time they've got the incendiary and the utility to hold off, to stave off any attempt at a retake. And we saw Team Liquid burn it down to the very last bit of wick last time. Not gonna happen. Denying that coffin control, even after Dupree doesn't come up with all the kills in construction. Astralis, they stop the spree of rounds.
No, but that near clutch from Dupree sets up this round right here. That's the story to put this round into context, because guns are going to have to be dropped over from Liquid. They're going to have to buy down into everything they have to make sure everyone is equipped to deal with this. 13-12, and Liquid, they can be broken here. NAF is brought down to an SMG. Elige has an M4, but he's only got the 1 Molotov. They're hurting due to Dupree's near clutch.
They're hurting, but maybe still confident as Elige goes barreling down middle. And off the back of this frag, if he finds players low health, but he's not quite sure what he wants to do. Does he drop into the underpass? Oh, Zipex may have just seen this. Oh, and the metal bar just gets into the midst of the duel. Zipek's better for it, 5v4. Already they were playing on the back foot with lesser weapons. Now, it's also with less men.
Well, listen, both teams have the same idea. Previous round, Astralis is putting the round in the hands of their star player and Device, leading the way up to Banana for the entry frag. This time, Liquid putting the round in the hands of Elige, pushing him down mid. It does not pan out for Liquid. NAF and Stewie gonna have to boost up. With that SMG, a huge gap on the smoke on the left side. And Glaive, he's trying to toy with it, jumping over, and he's just so close. NAF is gonna punish him. And they hold off for now, but look at the play up lane. It's all on Twist. Nitro's struggling to get back. He's the only player, Twist. He gets the first, and he can't transfer over anything else. Device has found both.
Talk about that star player. Device able to rip apart that B site last round. Well, he's what keeps this rolling. Trading out Twist off of the balcony, he could only get one. He had to try and find 3. And library rotation also cut off immediately, so this 2 left save. This is it.
This is what's so frustrating to play against Astralis. Liquid had such a massive run, 8 rounds in a row in this half, and you just slip up a couple times and all of a sudden the game is out of your control. Astralis have a huge lead down the stretch. It's gonna be tied up 13-13, but Liquid are gonna have to waste rounds trying to get this economy back under control. They don't have the money to fight in this next round.
Listen, let's rewind this. You said it yourself. You said it that Astralis down the line were gonna have something in their back pocket, that they'd slow things down, that they'd look for an opening, they'd isolate a different strat that they want to throw, and that to me was Device. Putting Device on the forefront of that B site.
Not only that, but now throwing some fakes into the mix. Now sending 2 players, in a 5-on-4, you send 2 players to attack that B bomb site, while you're sending 3 players up mid and up lane very aggressively. When the pressure is on in round 26, round 27 and beyond, that's when some of the rotations get a bit jumpy. That's when some of the calls get a little bit nervous and you're calling players over a bit earlier because you're very worried about what's coming. And Astralis is going to start taking advantage of that. Timeout called here as things need to be discussed for this defense, but it's not pretty. NAF and Stewie have the 2 rifles. Those are both the B defenders, so likely they'll want to split them up, but Elige, Nitro, and Twist, all beneath 3 grand. They can't buy anything. They're going to have to at least save and burn 1 round and buy up in the next.
Having to forfeit that 14th. What a tough pill to swallow. Tip of the hat to Dupree as well. 29 kills is where he finished on Nuke, currently sitting on 30. Device just behind him, and I feel like once we got to these late rounds, it's really Device who's been pushing the bar. Again, big play towards the B site with the op, and last round, not only that quick kill over towards Library to push Twists alone, but then the trade after Twist gets just 1.
Yeah.
A rapid 180, snaps him off Balk, ties things up at 13 rounds apiece, and like you said, pushes Liquid into such a weird economic spot.
Yeah, I would not be too happy if I'm Team Liquid at this point. Round 27. Little bit of a delay. This timeout, this tactical one, has turned into a technical one. So just a moment, and we'll be right back. Stewie and NAF. This is the question: is how exactly do you do this if you're Team Liquid? Do you want to keep both these weapons towards the B bomb site? Do you buy just enough utility to try and kind of control Banana and get one of those rifles in position, or do you split them up and see what they can do on each side of the map? There's a lot of questions for Team Liquid of how they want to do this exactly, but how fitting would it be? You've mentioned it a number of times. This comeback from Team Liquid starts on a 2nd round close to Fuse after losing the pistol. How fitting would it be if, again, Team Liquid keep themselves alive with a desperate buy scenario?
Justified frustration. That would have been awesome. Contender clip of the year.
Listen, Dupree's had a couple of those Deagle clips that go down into history.
Telling you, something about that B site Inferno. But now it's Liquid that find themselves sweating bullets. Again, the idea of forfeiting a 14th round, giving Astralis a bit of an edge here. And then the question is too, like we saw Liquid, as we got into these later portions, as we were getting into the 25th plus rounds, we saw Elige go barreling down middle, the same way Device was playing hyper aggression towards the B site. And the closer we get to the finish line, the less likely I expect those kinds of Hail Mary plays. So what are Team Liquid left to do? Let Astralis play their own?
Yeah, I mean, you might have to for just this 1 round at the very least. Not even sure if you can afford to upgrade any pistols. If you're Liquid, it's almost like, yeah, that would be great. You'd have some more element of danger if you had Deagle and light armor, Deagle and smoke, whatever it might be. But if you take that risk and you don't come out on top, then you're in even way more trouble. Because remember, with the streak that Liquid had, the loss bonus is tied up 2 rounds apiece. I mean, it's going to be, Astralis is still making money while they grind back into a two-round run right here.
Sure.
30 kills on Dupree in just 26 rounds.
His series so far
Has been magnificent.
Yep. Finished the first map with a 1.5 rating, and I can't wait to see where he's at after this.
Well, here's the other scary part of your Team Liquid is Device has been relatively quiet, but he's starting to step things up. He's starting to come into this. So even if you go to a third map, that's got to make you feel very happy if you're Astralis. But even on the stretch here on Inferno, just this previous round, these 2 rounds that they've won, you had Device with the AWP getting the opening kill in Banana up towards Car. In the second round, you had him swinging and getting that nice little one-tap towards Library and the spin for the trade on Balcony. So he's had a lot to say in these past 2 rounds that have finally gotten Astralis back on the board on their T side.
So here we go. We're right back into it. Pedal to the metal. As we said, lackluster buy coming back in here for Liquid. They need to cultivate the cash. So it's left on Stewie and NAF. M4 and Krieg accordingly.
And they do split him. 1 at the B-bomb site. NAF is boosted up on these flower pots with a couple of his teammates to surround. Dupree, Zipmix, and Glaive. Creeping closer to turning this corner, and that's exactly what NAF wants. How effective can he be?
Super effective, hopefully. But he's got to keep his head turned because he is the most important. Needs to be the counter. Flash moves slightly forward. He's able to forego the flashbang. Despite Liquid not knowing it, luckily there's nobody in apps to try and hold this. The one Krieg scene, they could very well double back.
Well, now Stewie is put in play. NAF's done his job. 1 flashbang on Stewie, that's a huge kill. Device gonna come right through, and again, he's found an opening. Oh, and unfortunately, that gun gets tapped just out of Nitro's reach. But Liquid can go for this. Liquid can go for this retake because Stewie had a kit.
Stewie did have the kit, and Twist takes his position off of the flash. He pushes by. Great damage off the P250, left in the 2v2. And that's it. Weapons on each. No armor for Elige. NAF leads the charge. He's still got 1 smoke, but the afterplant position includes Zipex towards Banana, and Magis tucked away, and he's not going to show face. Oh, Elige somehow gets the Banana player. Magis with everything to do, takes down the first. NAF caught midair, and Astralis, they'll get their 14th.
That was sketchy though. Liquid almost pull a rabbit out of the hat there, and now they have to invest. They're out of options. They did everything they could in that previous round, and it almost goes in their favor. M4's picked up, SMG on Stewie. They've got full utility. He's got a kit again.
Oh, that's such a robbery of a frag.
But you have to give it to Device. He's had what? 2 entries on these rounds? And these 3 rounds that Astralis have run in a row, he's had 2 entries towards Banana, towards that B-bomb site, and he had the entry with the 3-man push up lane 2 rounds ago.
One of those rounds that obviously Liquid, it's gonna be so tough for them to just accept the fact they left that slip by, especially Stewie, who just gets punched through smoke. But this is what they were playing for regardless. This was the gun round. They hope to turn it back. 14 apiece is still the possibility.
NAF needs to get boosted up. Low HP, SMG. Tough part is he's got a smoke that he's going to want to use at some point. And this is a very dangerous angle for Dupree to have. Any mistake, any missed rotation back around, if Elige gets forced away from his position on Rap side, he can be forced right into the crosshairs of Dupree, who's lying in wait.
So patient. But also so very much alone. Curious to see if Liquid decide to make a proactive play. And there it is, Elige down mid, get your gun out! Oh, because he went back for bomb. Zipex catches the mid push just as the B site crumbles, and now Astralis, they're primed. They are absolutely primed to take 15.
Yeah, Stewie's got to back away right now. I know you feel like you want to be the hero, but he's got to back off. They do not have weaponry in the next round, and the time isn't close enough for you to do something miraculous and stop the plant. And he might have just waited too long. There's no way he gets back now. They're going to fight for everything. Stewie can't find the second. Astralis at 15, 2 chances to close out this opening series.
And for Team Liquid, who wanted to come into this, their potential last chance at taking a series off of Astralis, for taking a series off of the team who denied them their year. We expect maybe the gap to stay the same, push it to a third. No, that gap is widened at this point if Astralis close this one.
Again, just so close, yet so far for the moment. 15-13.
And they could still have one chance at besting this beast, but it means they have to fight all the way from the lower bracket.
Well, they first get a chance to bring us to overtime. They have that one opportunity to get us there. Nitro can drop an M4 over to a teammate, but the buy is going to be really rough. Another timeout called for Team Liquid. Everyone, 3 players sitting right at $3 grand. Not enough money for rifles and armor, not even enough money for all the utility you'd want behind a FAMAS, behind an SMG.
What's the play? What's the buy?
4 rounds in a row for Astralis after losing 8 straight. They figured it out. It took them a long time, but they figured out the weakness.
Yep. As they did on the T side of Nuke. Again, we talked about exploiting that weakness. Took them longer to find it, sure. They let Liquid get their hopes up of a comeback. And the hope's not dead. The dream's still kicking. But they will have to do this with 3 MP9s. At least they have utility.
Keep an eye on Elige as well on the minimap. He's at Banana for the moment. He's got the only kit for the CT side if they need it. THEIVES has been so aggressive on these picks in Banana, on fighting up Banana. Remember, down the stretch of Liquid's T-half, they didn't even want to mess with this part of the map. They had been so decimated, and now it's happening on the other side as well.
Timid is Team Liquid. Just holding on their sights. NAF boosted up. Frag flies past, no problem. But it's not just the frag that follows. Smoke, flashbangs, and what could be a full-blown execution 2v5 to hold this. Or do they wait?
Well, Astralis is being so quiet, and they're pretty confident in having all 5 players in Banana. I mean, almost calling a bluff and telling Liquid, if you want to try and push towards A, if you want to try and push down mid, if that's actually the call you're going to make, fair play, go for it.
Yeah, they've caught it once before.
Here we go, set piece. Naf and Stewie to defend. Another smoke goes up right in the choke point, but Naf and Stewie are in a position to fight behind it. Naf is burning, spam coming through, and the SMG just can't do the damage. Stewie's caught on the other side of the smoke. He's got to come through with the flashbang from Nitro. He needs some kills. He's going to mow down one, but there's way too many bodies left to fight.
Oh, and Dupree through smoke as well. The spam damage could just well have sealed this match. Not just the second map, not just the place that Liquid tends to push the bar, but now pushed into the depths of the lower bracket could be Team Liquid, hoping to start the tournament with revenge and still hoping to make this retake happen. You talked about the kit on Elige, and it's still very much in the mix, but an MP9 and a FAMAS both cut down. Astralis finished this second map on fire. They gave up a spree of rounds to Liquid, but they finished on fire.